So the Premier League is back, and this weekend it's Arsenal versus Bournemouth. Let me give you a history about Bournemouth. In the space of 11 years, they've come from the unthinkable to establish themselves as a Premier League team. When I first moved down here in 2012, they were a League One side, mid-table, going nowhere. Didn't even have 4 stands in the stadium. That's not where it gets bad. We roll ourselves back to 2008. They were in £4 million debt and looking like they were going bust. Looking like the club was completely finished. Now, that year they were given a 10-point deduction. Lucky enough they stayed up. You think it doesn't get worse than that? It does. Roll on to the following year, 2008 to 2009. Bournemouth were given a 17-point deduction because they could not pay for all their games. Must be relegated that year. Must be? Not Bournemouth. We roll on halfway through that season, still 10 points behind in the relegation zone. Eddie Howe turns player to manager. And what does he do? He goes on an absolutely amazing run and keeps Bournemouth up on the final day. So in the space of 2009 to 2012, they're now a League One side, looking like they're kind of established themselves into League One side. Then, Eddie Howe, who left in that meantime when he went to Burnley for a short spell, he came back. And again, Bournemouth, from the 2012 to 2013 season, looking like a mid-table side, went on an absolutely amazing run, a crazy run. Where did they end up? The Championship. 2013 to 2015, they're now a Premier League side, where they've been ever since. So when people say about Leicester's achievement of winning the Premier League, what an amazing achievement it was. But if you look at Bournemouth and where they come from 2008 to 2019, that is absolutely astonishing. So going into the game now, Arsenal versus Bournemouth. Now our record against Bournemouth in the Premier League at home is 100%. Played 4 times, won 4 times. So what are we going to think? It's going to be a win. You've got to remember, where Bournemouth have come from to where Bournemouth are now, nothing's impossible. So I'm hoping that we can go into this game on Sunday, making sure we get the 3 points that are going to get us back into the Champions League. That's where we want to be. If anything's possible, anyone can beat anyone these days. But from what Bournemouth's done to where they are now, anything's possible. But going into this game, I'm going to give you my predicted lineup. I'm going to kick it off. I reckon there's going to be a lot of changes from the game on Thursday night. We've seen from the game against Manchester United to the game on Thursday night against Standard Liège, there was 10 changes made. There's going to be a lot more changes made as well. Maybe 8, 9, maybe 10 again. Well, who knows? But I'm going to give you my predicted lineup of what I believe will play on Sunday. Starting off with Leno. I believe Leno will play in goal. He'll come back in. Martinez is the cup goalkeeper. He'll step out and Leno will come in. Moving on to right back, I reckon we'll take out Bellerin from the game against Standard Liège. Like I say in my post from yesterday, he's nearly there, but he's not there yet. So I believe Chambers will come in at right back. Left back, I hope we stay with Tierney. I do believe Tierney is ready to play now. We've seen the achievement he did coming into the game against Standard Liège. We've seen the kind of what he was doing against Nottingham Forest. I believe Tierney's ready, and I think Tierney will start. Then we move on to our centre-back pairing. Starting off with, I do believe they will change the both of them. I believe David Luiz will come back in. I can kind of like hope that David Luiz can kind of like take these mistakes out of himself. And you know what? Just prove everyone wrong, prove me wrong as well. Playing alongside him, I believe we'd have Socrates there again. Like I say, there's going to be a lot of changes made from the game against Standard Liège, but I do believe Socrates will come back in the game against Bournemouth. Then we're going to go with a formation of 4-2-3-1, so the 2 holding midfielders, starting off with, I believe our captain will come back into the game, Granit Xhaka. He's kind of like had a rest during the week against Standard Liège. I do believe he'll come back in and play against Bournemouth on Sunday. Playing alongside him, he didn't have many minutes against Standard Liège. I do believe Guendouzi will play alongside Xhaka. Then we move on to the players in front of them. Moving on to the left, Saka didn't play against Standard Liège. Saka had an amazing game against Manchester United. He's in form, so why not play him? So I believe Saka will play on the left. Moving over to the right, people might say he's not in form. But you know what? We need to stop being critical of our players. Stop getting on their backs. Get behind them. Nicolas Pepe should play on the right. Because you know what? People are expecting too much from Nicolas Pepe and they're putting him under pressure. So stop putting him under pressure and get behind him. Nicolas Pepe on the right for me. Then we move on to our centre, or our cam as you would call it. And it's the hard one because there's a lot of players that can play there. But I believe he had an absolutely amazing game against Standard Liège. Joe Willock. He runs at players. And you know what? He draws players to him as well. So I believe Joe Willock will play on that cam position. Then I would say our striker. Now, Martinelli had an absolutely amazing game, but how could you ever leave Aubameyang out? So yeah, I'm going to go with Aubameyang up top. There's lots of players who are battling for positions. I've left out the likes of Reece Nelson. I've left out the likes of Dani Ceballos, Lucas Torreira, Martinelli, Holding, Bellerin. You know what? Healthy competition ain't a bad thing. Like I say, our record against Bournemouth in the Premier League at home, it's 100%. Fingers crossed we can keep that 100% and we move on. Come on, the Arsenal. Do not let us down.